Oh, litter boxes. There's so much crap out there about litter boxes.
Yeah, people think the most important feature in a litter box is for it to be convenient to them. And so they get all of these wild contraptions to try to minimize the amount of work that they have to do, not really thinking about the fact that eventually, if they're using an automatic box, there's going to be poop and pee that gets down into the insides and in the mechanisms of said box that's eventually going to need to be cleaned. Or if you have some kind of sifting litter system, if the cat will even use it, because those are so unnatural for cats to use in the first place. But like we go
especially the one that
effort,
has all the
and sometimes we think it's like more convenient to train your cat to use the toilet. That's a disaster waiting to happen. What happens when your cat falls in and gets messy all over the place? And that's unsanitary and it's traumatic for the cat. So disgusting. We really need to think about not just what's convenient for us, but what will the cat actually use that's not fighting against their instinctive natural behaviors. And then once you figure out what the cat will use, then figure out what you need to do to set yourself up to maintain it appropriately. Does that mean you have to put the scoop in a trash litter genie right next to it? Fine, but don't put a cover on it.
That's what I do.
Forget about it for like a week and then think that that's fine and then be surprised when your cat pees on the couch. That's disgusting. If you didn't flush the toilet for a week, would your roommates want to use it? Would you want to use it? No. That's a good face, Joey. That's a good face.
Well, it's just, again, it's
So
one of those
gross.
things that you have to keep in mind that your cat is a living creature. They're not just an object. And things like having a clean litter box, that's not an unreasonable ask of us. That having a litter box that's scooped and scooped daily, the fact that people can get away with not scooping the litter box as much and still have a cat using it is actually quite remarkable.
Surprising.
I mean, cats do us a lot of favors. There's a lot of less than ideal setups that cats will put up with. When you have a cat that will not put up with one of them and they're like, no, I don't like this. This is really uncomfortable for me. People will be upset with the cat when it's really just that there's something that the cat needs that's not being met. And in many cases, it's something that's not that hard of a change. It may be a simple fix. Thinking of a litter box that's really easy for your cat to get into as opposed to one where they have to go in the top and get into the litter box. Even if you have a high pier, let's bust this myth, Prozac, because you are the one that is the reason we have the high-sided boxes around here. He's now moved and he's sitting on a stool right across the way. And I'm just going to stare at him as I say this. So even when you have a cat that pees a little bit higher, you don't have to have a top entry or a covered litter box. You can get a high-sided litter box that you could make your own out of a storage tub that has really high sides. You could get a really wide litter box that would be nice and wide so then the cat can't pee out of it because they go right into the middle of it and then they just right into the litter. Even boxes like stainless steel boxes, because I'm testing a stainless steel box right now, you can get high-sided stainless steel ones that are still open. The cat can leap out of them if they need to, and they still meet the needs of your cat, and you aren't forcing them to go into a tiny hole and then climb down into their toilet. It would be like if I were to take you and I were to suspend you by a rope and lower you down into a toilet every time you wanted to go to the bathroom. You probably wouldn't like that very much. You're probably going to be like, you know what I want to do is I want to take a piss in the bush outside.
That too. Yeah, or hold it until I get a bladder infection, which is also not
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Or you may get desperate enough that eventually you're like, okay, fine, I'm going to put up with this. But let's say you're not feeling well or you're stressed, you're going to be like, I'm going to go find somewhere else to go rather than, having to climb down this stupid ladder that for whatever reason, the architect that designed your home was like, oh yeah, the ladder into the toilets, that's what everyone wants, right? Well, no. It may not seem like a big barrier to you to have to climb into things, but your cat's smaller than you are. Or even like having a flap on a box or forcing them to go through a cat flap to get to the litter box. With some exceptions, there are some situations where that does make sense, but generally for most cats, assuming there's no cat conflict or there's no like other reason why you would have to do that and it would make sense, it just isn't the best thing to do. If I want my cats to use the litter box, they should probably keep it in a location that's convenient for them and that they
Mhm.
will actually choose to use it, as opposed
Mhm.
to being like, I'm going to put it in a really deep, dark corner that they have to
In the
go
basement
through.
next to the washer and dryer, 3 litter boxes lined up next to each other.
One litter box. One giant litter box, basically.
It'd be like going into a restroom with no stalls around the toilets. Now, for us, that would be a problem because of privacy and social dynamics. For cats, it's less
Yep.
about privacy and more about a sense of safety and security. They want to be able
Yep.
to see what's around them, know that nobody's going to ambush them in the box. And if you have a high peer, that can be tricky because sometimes if they're experiencing additional stress, they might, raise up their rear end extra and sprinkle pee all over the place, which is not great. But that's one of the places where cat behavior consultants are experts at helping you find creative solutions. I worked with Katina Jones, who specializes in house soiling cases, and I ended up coming up with a solution, and I sent her pictures of my litter box situation. Was I have one cat who would pee vertically when she's uncomfortable or a little anxious, and she wouldn't go all the way into the box when she does it. So she would put her 4 paws into the box, but then pee outside the box, so it would shoot across the room. Not great. The best solution I found was to try to decrease stress for her so that didn't happen. And part of that was keeping the litter box regularly clean so that she felt safe and comfortable. But the other part was I put a translucent plastic shower curtain around it with cute little fishies on it. So she could step through the curtain like you were talking about the cat flap, only this is easier. She steps right through that and she can pee, and if it hits the curtain, it just goes right on down into the litter. Easy peasy, and it keeps everything nice and clean.
There are things, if you don't want to do shower curtain or you don't have room to hang it around you, there's pee shields that you can get now.
That's true.
They're really cool. And I'm going to just rag on top entry boxes now because I hate them. They do a very good job of marketing them, but cats really just don't like them. And again, if your cat is using a top entry box, I am genuinely happy for you. You've gotten very lucky. For every reason that I see that people are like, oh, I need a top entry box, there's an easier, more cat-friendly solution to that.
Yes.
A great example would be if you have a dog that's like, ooh, look at this giant snack machine. I'm going to go eat the turds that are over there. You don't have to do a top entry box for that, or you don't have to do a covered box because you still have to think about the needs of the cat. You can't pick a box that the cat is going to hate. And there are other options such as Door Buddy and have a room that only your cat can get into and their boxes in there. Or I really like this product called the Lofty Loo, where it's an elevated litter box and it's got a little cabinet below it and there's a little small ledge out front. And it's really nice because for cats that can get up onto it and they're able to jump, that have a dog that's coming and terrorizing them while they're using the litter box, or the dog's coming and eating their snacks, a lot of dogs are not going to actually be able to get up there. And it's also nice because people who have trouble with bending over, or they maybe have vertigo or some sort of medical condition, it's still a better solution than an automatic litter box or a top entry box. Just not for every cat. And the thing that I always suggest, because I suggest this to people fairly regularly, is that they get a set of pet stairs to go with it to make it easier for their cat to choose it, or incorporate it into cat shelves, or make it some way that it's easier for the cats to choose to go into, because not every cat is going to be okay with jumping up there, and you don't want the cat to have to jump directly into the box. But it's a really good product, and I'm really glad that it exists because there's such a need for things like that, and especially multi-species homes. There are products like that that can solve the problem that are much cat friendlier than one that just really doesn't take the needs of the cat into mind. Because contrary to the myth that a lot of the companies that produce these automatic boxes try and put out there, if you have multiple cats, you can't get by with just one automatic box. You might be able to get away with that from the standpoint of cleaning the box, but from a territoriality standpoint, you need multiple boxes and they should be spread out, because otherwise you're going to have cats guarding the boxes, or they're going to end up getting in fights. And you need multiple litter boxes if you have multiple cats, even if you don't want multiple litter boxes.
Even if your cats get along, we want them to continue to get along, and so it's important that they all have their own resources and their own space so that we can continue to support those positive relationships. I'm really glad that there are more products nowadays that you're making faces at your
Sorry, Prozac is looking really cute, and I'm just I want to squish him.
It's probably better that you're just making faces at him instead. He probably
I know. He's got his little paw, and it's just like very adorable.
God.
Oh, and his face. Sorry, I interrupted
you're
you
good.
because Prozac was being so cute.
That's
You were saying.
Fair. I'm really glad that there are more products nowadays that are taking into consideration the natural instincts and needs of cats. We have to be careful because, marketing pros are very savvy and they can make things look appealing that aren't actually going to meet your cat's needs. So when you're looking at a product, don't just, fall for the bling and the buzz. Look at does this provide what my cat needs? And if it does, then that's probably a great product to choose. And if it doesn't, and it's like, oh, this will be super convenient and solve all of your problems. Yeah, that's probably too good to be true and is not going to really help in the long run.
Speaking of which, let's talk about products that make wild claims for solving cat issues, because there's a lot of them out there that they're like, this is going to solve everything.